Hello, and welcome to episode 6 of the Black Sheep Knitter podcast. My name is Sarah, and I am coming to you from Madison, Wisconsin. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. I will be telling you where I've been. If you are a new viewer, welcome. I hope you find something exciting in this video. I generally talk about crafts, so knitting, crocheting, quilting, sewing, kind of whatever. But today, we're mostly going to talk about knitting with a little tiny smidge of acquisitions in the form of some crochet things. But anyway, let's just jump right in. My movers are literally on their way. So where have I been? It's been summer. So I think the last video I ended by saying, hey, it's summertime in Madison. This is kind of the best time to live here. I want to enjoy it. And I have. So I have been at the beach. I've been floating on the river. I've been hanging out with my friends at various parks and at people's houses and having barbecues and having birthday parties. It's been very fun. So last summer was a very different vibe for reasons I won't get into, but this summer was like a summer of celebration and joy. And then I bought a house. So unexpected. I was sort of looking casually because, that's kind of what people who are ready to buy a house, but also are like, but they're so expensive. That's kind of the thing, right? Is you kind of keep an eye out, but you're like, and then the fates aligned, and a house that was in my price range in the neighborhood I already live in and not too far from the lake popped up, and I went for it and I got it. So in the midst of all the other fun chaos that I've been doing, I also have been trying to organize contractors and pick out materials and design a bathroom and blah. So it's been a very hectic, frantic couple of months. I did not plan to be gone for so long. I really was like, I'm going to take a month or two and then but it's really been the whole summer because it's basically the end of August. But not intended, but it was necessary. But I'm back. So let's jump into things that I finished. So I'm going to talk about my finished objects. I'm going to talk about our KAL that's coming up. That's part of the reason why this video is happening right now, because I'm if I wait, this background will be gone because it's all got to get moved. And I was I don't know when I'm going to have time to put it all back together. And I do not want to have the official announcement be janky. The actual kickoff will be janky, but y'all forgive me for that, I hope. So I want to get into some details about the KAL. I'm going to show some acquisitions. It's been from the whole summer, but I'm going to try to also, please forgive me. I've already forgotten the names of half the yarns I've used in my finished objects because it's been months. So it'll be in the show notes and it's on Ravelry, but this brain... It's also been 100 degrees. Yesterday was the first day out of the week that wasn't over 85. Literally, there were 2 days. The heat index hit 110 2 days ago. That is not the summer I asked for. So my brain is still trying to recover. But first things first. Sophie Scarf. So I am one to admit when I'm wrong. The Sophie Scarf is literally the perfect project. It just is. It just is. It's very easy to knit. Once I started getting my stitch marker game down, so I was putting a stitch marker every time I needed an increase, and then I would leave it, do the next set of increases, and then move it. And then that way I didn't have to count the purl bumps, but I also didn't have to have 1,000 stitch markers hanging off my work. It worked very well. And in fact, there's a hot pink one somewhere. I thought I finished it, but I couldn't find it, which means it's not finished and it's in a bag somewhere. You'll see it in the fall, I'm sure. I'm sure I will find it and resurrect it, but for now, who knows? I don't know where it is. But yes, so this is Malabrigo Sussurro. So it is, again, that lovely blend that does not rip out my hair. And yeah, I love them. They style very easily. I don't think I'm ever going to wear it as an actual scarf. That's not my vibe. But as a little headband, 100%. So definitely recommend. But we don't care. You've seen a Sophie Scarf from me before. What you have not seen is a beige top. This is my joke top. And I feel bad calling it that now because the pattern is great. So this is, let me stand up really quickly and give you a little view. Okay, this is the Soho top by Caidree. I knit it in a cotton, some type of cascade. I cannot remember for the life of me the color or the actual name of the yarn, which is wild. but it will not come into this brain. So show notes, Ravelry. But I love this pattern. I did not think it was going to work. If you followed me on Instagram, which you should, because I post more often there usually, though again, not this past summer because, but I was like, I don't think it's working. Like, it's so big and kind of, and people were just like, once you put the I-cord edging on, you'll be good. And I was like, I don't think so. This thing is gigantic. Like, it's huge. And then I put the I-cord edging on. I was like, oh yeah, no. Why would I doubt Caidree? This is the second thing I've made by this designer, and she does not miss. Does not. I will never doubt her again. I will just make the patterns. We'll just make them. I'm not even gonna worry about, like, you pick your size, you make sure that your measurements, and then it just works. So this was one of my favorite tops of the year, and it's beige. But you'll see that it's like a beige that fits my skin color, which honestly should have occurred to me. But I think whenever I see beige, it's like pinky beige, which, you know, does not work for my skin tone at all. But this beige is really flattering. So I wore it a lot, like a lot. And you know what? I can't recommend this yarn. It's going to be hard to see, but like, do you see how like the edge is like all like kind of blah? Like, it didn't hold up well. I haven't worn this. I mean, I said I wore it a lot. For me, wearing a knit shirt in the summertime, if I wear it more than twice is a lot. I've worn it maybe 5 or 6 times. It shouldn't look like this after 5 or 6 times. I also just didn't wash it again because I was like worried that would somehow make it like look worse before I was able to get on camera and actually show it to you. So it doesn't, like, it's nice and cool. The fabric it made was like nice. And it's definitely like, it's very comfortable, but it's just like, it's loose enough that it's not rubbing against things, and it just has not worn well. So not a huge fan, but I am going to make this again, probably in a different yarn. And that yarn is probably going to be the one I'm getting ready to show you, which is literally now my favorite summer yarn of all time. Like, so good that it's going to come back in the acquisition section. But let me do like a quick outfit change, which, since I don't actually do any editing, is not going to be quick. It's just going to be me taking this off and putting something else on, but y'all are used to that. So, okay. Close your eyes, don't look. That's how I do the magic, is just to have you not look while I'm doing it. Okay. Oh, that was kind of quick. All right. Just putting it on. Oh my God. Okay. Let me shimmy up. Ooh, 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 ooh. Do. It feels so good. It feels so good. Okay, let me stop. This is I'm calling it the Joni tee. Joni. I understand that is Joni, but I started calling it Joni, and I'm like committed to it now. So it's probably the Joni top, though. Let's be real. Like, Joni Mitchell, people were like, but like, there's literally a person with that. I was like, I know, but like, anyway. The pattern is by Natasja Hornby. I want to say her company is called Moonstruck Fibers, but the last word, my brain is like, is it fibers or is it something else? I don't know. It's Moonstruck something. But if you look for Natasja Hornby and Joni tee, you will find this. It's a masterpiece. So every version of this I saw was in white. I don't wear white. I also didn't wear beige, so never say never. But generally speaking, I don't wear white. I don't wear white t-shirts. I don't wear white pants. I don't wear white. I wear black, even in the summertime. Like, that is, I'm a little goth girl. What can I tell you? I don't seem like it, I know, but it's still in here. So I only wear black. But when I saw this pattern, and then I was like, I need to get some yarn, and I really don't want it to be white. What do I do? And I thought, oh, if I get black, it's not going to show any of the detailing. And then I was just like, oh, I don't really know what to do. And then Premier, who hopefully I will work with, I haven't gotten my act together to respond to them yet, but I've been using all of their stuff. They reached out and said, hey, we would love to send you some yarn to see if like you want to work with us. And I said, great. So I mentioned this like months ago. I got 2 skeins of black black bamboo fair from them. And then when this shirt came out, I thought, I'm going to try to use that yarn for this. Like, listen, I wish I could go back and knit every summer top I've ever made in this yarn. And I know that sounds very hyperbolic, and I'm not even like a brand ambassador for them yet. I actually had to buy 3 more skeins with my own money because I don't know what I was thinking, but 2 skeins I was not going to get there. I don't know. So I made 2 separate orders because I made one order with 2 more skeins. And then I was just like, I don't think I'm going to win Yarn Chicken. I'm pretty sure I'm getting ready to run out of yarn again. So I placed a 3rd order. And in that order, I ordered a bunch of other colors, not a bunch, like 2 other colors and more skeins of this because I was like, I don't even think I've got time to make another summer top, but if I do, this is the yarn that I want to use for it, and I got to have it on deck. So, but that's really all I have to say about this one. I love it. It's soft, it's comfortable, it's very flattering. It's perfection. I don't even know that I would knit the top again because the only color I wanted in is black. I already got one, so I don't think I need to do any more, but that's that. So I'm just going to keep this on because I love it. I also finished the Sea Breeze vest by PetiteKnit. I'm just going to show it. I'm not going to do a whole change. You already saw that trick. But it is very large and kind of shapeless. And part of that is because of the cotton. And part of it is because I couldn't really understand the construction while I was doing it. And I should have sized down a couple of sizes. Somebody did message me on my last video. I can't remember who it was. I'm very sorry, but you'll know who you are. And they were like, that's not going to get smaller. It's not. And I was like, but I'm already like 3/4 of the way done. So like, I'm just going to, and no, it didn't. She was correct. She was correct. Also, as much as like, so I will say the pattern's great. Like, don't let the shapelessness and weirdness of it fool you. That's an error on my part. Like it wasn't a good matching of yarn and pattern and sizing. Like I just kind of didn't really know what was going on. I would definitely go down probably 2 sizes the next time I made this. But I have worn it. Like, it's not like I'm not wearing it. It's great over dresses. It's great over like a little spaghetti top or like a little bralette, and some shorts. Like, it was cute. Like, I'm not trying to pretend like it wasn't cute. It was very slouchy and very comfortable and very cute. And the yarn is to die for. I can't remember what this is anymore. I think it was, I know the color was, no, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. The next video will be better. I swear I'll have a brain. But I talked about this quite a bit the last episode and it will be in the show notes. So I loved it, but then I made the beige. The beige superseded this. Then I made this, and this superseded everything I've made this year. It might even be better than some of the Stephen West shawls I made, which, like, to say that, it hurts me. But I love this. I love this top. I love it. In fact, I'm going to wear it the rest of the day. I forgot already how much I love it because I've been covered in dirt and grime and stuff and haven't been wearing normal clothes, but I don't have to do that today until tonight. So I'm going to just wear this for the rest of the day. But those are my finished objects. Yeah, I got a lot done. I haven't gotten as much done in a whole summer as one might expect because I can't even count them from here. There's so many. I want to say there's at least 8 bags of works in progress that is over there that we won't be talking about because if I'm being 100% honest, I've not touched them. I've only been working on really one project, one I frogged, and then one I picked up because it was too pretty not to, and it was a test knit. And I know I said I was never going to do test knits anymore, but it's for a lovely woman who is based out of Milwaukee. And I was like, sure, I have time. I'm just gonna slide into this test knit, even though the deadline is like in 3 weeks, and I have Rhinebeck knitting and moving, and it's what I do. Okay, so I want to move on very quickly to the KAL because I don't want to forget to talk about that, and I might have to cut this short if I hear a knock at the door. This video, I'm so sorry that this is so absurd and ridiculous, but this is, y'all know how I am. You know how I am. Okay, so Ranunculus. Everybody's made one except for me and quite a few of you. So my thought when I figured this out was, wouldn't it be fun if we all knit it together as like a late to the party, missed the boat kind of vibe, right? Like an embracing of the fact that like we're not on trend. So that's what we're going to do. So it is going to start September 1st. You will have through the end of the year. So I'm not going to do that to you where it's like you got a month or 2 months, because we have Stephen West. Listen, the MCAL, I'm already there. I was so hype for his announcement and was like, where are the kits? I need to see the kits. So we have Stephen West. We also have Rhinebeck for folks who are going. There are also some other festivals that are happening that aren't Rhinebeck. And I was like, I don't want people to feel stressed. I know that the point of the Ranunculus for a lot of folks is that it's a quick knit. Great. But for a lot of us who have, see aforementioned 8 bags or whatever I've got over there, other projects and things going on or life going on, I don't want people to feel stressed. So you have until the end of the year, December 31st at midnight, Madison's, what is that, Central Standard Time. I will close whatever things, I guess it's Instagram at this point. It's going to be on Instagram, but I will close the KAL at that point and choose the winners. So what are you in the running for? I just realized I didn't grab one of the prizes. So I'm going to have to do that in a very unglamorous way, which is just to get up and turn around and get it. So sorry, folks. You know how I am. Okay, let's start with this one since I just grabbed it. Okay, so from my personal stash, I am giving away 1 skein of the Ching Fiber Baby Surrey, Melted Baby Surrey in the color Slate. So this is 1 prize. And then my wonderful and amazing local vendors were kind enough to give me some prizes to give away. So from Fiddlesticks, which is my local yarn store, I am giving away a Twill and Print row counter. And there it is. Look how pretty that is. And you can attach it to your bag so you'll never lose it. So this is another prize. Very excited about this. I also got some amazing yarn to give away from one of my favorite yarn dyers here in Madison. So let me, it's packaged so prettily, and I don't want to open it, but I have to so that you can kind of see it. So I'm very sorry about that. But from Evergreen Fibers, we have 1 skein of their 80/20 hemlock sock in Peony. And then we also have a skein of Beautiful Disaster, which is their Surrey Silk Haze line. And that is 74% baby Surrey alpaca, 26% silk. So these to me look like they would work together quite nicely. So here you get, how many ounces is this one? Not ounces, sorry. 328 yards. And this one you get 400 yards. So this would be a very cute something. I don't know what, maybe a little tiny shawl. But that's another prize. So the 2 of these together, I'm going to give these away together. So that's another prize. And then finally, we have from Pax Fibers, another local yarn dyer. Sorry for the bags. But this we have Lucky Highlighter. This is in their sock blend, or sorry, their sock base, 463 yards per skein. It's merino nylon blend. The fact that I have integrity is the only reason why y'all are seeing this. Because I opened the package and I was like, I have to give these away. I said I was giving them away. Pax sent them to me to give away. I cannot keep these myself and just sub in 2 other skeins, so I have to give these away. But y'all. So those are our prizes. I'm gonna try very hard. Ugh, okay. There we go. So 4 prizes. Local folks plus my own random stash thing. So details for the KAL. So folks have been asking me, like, are partials going to be allowed? Like, kind of what's the deal? Because it's 4 months, they have to be started September 1st, no earlier, and ended December 31st. So you have to complete a ranunculus. Sorry. I know that there are some people that are like, oh, but what if I don't finish? I know, but like, it's supposed to be fast. Now, obviously I haven't made one, so I don't know this from experience, but from whatever I've heard, it's a pretty quick knit. It's like on size US 10s, which I think are like, what, 6mm needles? You can use any yarn size or like any yarn weight that you want. So like there's a lot of flexibility. And I think 4 months is enough time to start and finish a ranunculus. So it's gonna have to be started no earlier than September 1st, and then completed no later than December 31st this year, 2023. So that is it. I don't know yet if I'm going to be able to do like a Instagram live kickoff. I would like to. It all depends on how internet service and everything goes, because I'm literally moving tomorrow morning and that's like this week. So I'll let folks know on Instagram if I'm able to do that. But regardless, we are going to start on the 1st. So I'm super excited for everybody. Good luck. Excited to see all the beautiful ranunculi. Yay, Latin. And the hashtag that we're going to use on Instagram. So I'm not going to do Ravelry because honestly, I've never run a KAL before. And I think it would be too much right now for my brain to try to figure out how to do it on Ravelry. So we're just going to do Instagram. And the hashtag is going to be Missed the Boat KAL. So Missed the Boat KAL 2023. That's our hashtag. So hope you will join me. I'm really excited. I might even try to make 2 because I'm me and absurd. But I have the yarn that I got from Quebec. Why is my brain... I can't even remember the name of the store. Do you see what's happening right now? Do you see what the brain is doing? I can't even remember. But anyway, I'm like, La Bien-Aimée. I'm like, nope, that's in this other bag that I'm going to show you. But why can't I think of it? It's like one of the most famous yarn stores in all of Montreal. Anyway, I have that yarn, but then I also have been on a buying spree, which I'm going to get to very swiftly. But first, let me show you what I've been working on. This is very important. So as y'all know, I am going to Rhinebeck for the first time, even though I lived very close to Rhinebeck for like 20 years. How I didn't get there, I don't know. So now I'm going, but I'm in the middle of the country, which is very silly, but whatever. So I decided to make the Moonflower coat by Rowan. This has been a labor of love. It's also been quite a journey. So I started off thinking I'm gonna knit it in pieces because I miss knitting sweaters in pieces. Sure. It's a colorwork sweater. Knitting it in pieces means purling the colorwork. And then I said, you know what? I can do that. And then I started and I was like, this is taking 1,000 years. And this was like back in July. And I was like, I'm not, but I'm stubborn. So I was like, I said I was doing it in pieces and I said I was purling the colorwork and the tension's fine and I'm doing it. And then after like about maybe 3 weeks, I was like, oh, I haven't done nearly enough in 3 weeks to get this finished in time for Rhinebeck, so abort mission. So I ripped it out, and then I thought, let me start over, but I'm going to do this in the round. So I went to the Sauzier, which is my other yarn store on the other side of town, and I said, help me, I'm scared. Like, if I do this in the round, it means I have to steek it, and like, I don't want to, but I also really need the speed of color work in the round. So like, what do I do? So we decided that I would do it in the round, add some steeking stitches, and then I'm going to also add some steeking stitches for the sleeves. If you have tips for that, please send them to me, because the fact that I'm even doing a steek is already a challenge, and then trying to add like sleeve steeks, I was just like, I don't understand. I've read a bunch of articles, but I'm terrified. So I did all of that, and then I thought I'll restart. But then I was having tension issues, and I said, okay, but why am I having tension issues? Like, I've done color work like this before, and honestly, I don't really know. But I tried a new technique, ladder back jacquard, and it was not working for me. It worked for me on very tiny pieces. I did a bunch of swatches. So, you know, here we are, 2023, land of the swatching. Once again, not coming through for me. And then I did it for maybe 3 inches, and I thought, this looks not good. I need to not do this. So I abandoned the ladder back jacquard, and I went back to two-handed stranded knitting, which is what I prefer. So one color in one hand and one color in another, which means that I throw/flick with my right hand, and I continental style knit with my left hand. And that's just what I've always done, always been comfortable. But what I've never had happen before is needing to catch the floats for both colors. So when I got to needing to catch the like non-dominant color, I was like, and so I was picking up the yarn and wrapping it around and putting it back, and I was like, and I just was sitting, I'm like, what is going on with this project? Like, I have done color work a lot. Like, why is this so hard? I don't know what was happening. I think it's just literally I've never had to do the non-dominant color. And I realized, like, this isn't a skill I have. I have no idea how to do this. So I went to the internet. I found a bunch of techniques. And I finally found one that works. I cannot remember which one it is. This is a theme. So again, I'm very sorry, but I will link it below because it was genius, especially if you like to do the two-handed color work that I like and you are proficient with throwing, but less so with continental, because this basically allows you to do as little continental knitting as necessary, but then you're sort of using this hand to do more of the work. And I found it much more comfortable. And once I got into that rhythm, we were going. So let me show you what I have. All of the yarn is, nope, I've put the yarn away, of course. What is my life right now? What is happening? Yes, it's definitely not, oh, no, wait. I do have it in here, but none of the labels are on it. Oh, but the special order form is here. Yay. Okay. So it is Patagonia Juniper Moon in various colors. Now that I am not going to try. Like I'm not. That's on Ravelry for sure. But it's Patagonia Juniper Moon. It is a rustic yarn and I love it. So let me show you how far I've gotten. I'm going to try to show you the steek stitches as well. Yay! So you can see that these, I'm going to cut down the center of these and open it up. I also realized like last week or 2 weeks ago that I still have to add this border on the inside here. And I was like, that's going to be very bulky. I don't, So we might be altering this pattern. We'll see. But I love how it's come out so far. I think it is doing exactly what I needed to do. The colors are amazing and vibrant and they work really well together. It's been very easy knitting this. When I have, an hour or so, I can pick it up and do a very proficient row. And I think it looks pretty good with my skin tone, which was something I was worried about because I went out of my comfort zone with this background color, which is cream. So look at me. I got beige, I got cream, I got a Sophie Scarves. I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong, and I'm also willing to try new things. So I'm very happy with how this is turning out, but I got to pick up the pace. So once I've moved officially, because I also was like, I'm going to line it and I'm going to add some like button loops and some toggles and I'm just like, with what time? What are you doing? I don't know. Anyway, but as I mentioned, I have another work in progress that I've actively been working on, and this is by Corin Purifoy. Yes, Corin Purifoy. She works at Cream City Yarn in Milwaukee. I have been there on several occasions to buy things, and I was there for the Amy Gilles. I actually don't remember now if there's an accent on the Amy from La Bien-Aimée. I was there for one of their events and I bought a bunch of yarn and she's just lovely. So, and then she popped up on my Instagram and I was like, wait a minute, that's where I know you from. Like, cause I was in the shop thinking, she looks really familiar, but how do I know her? And it was from Instagram. Like, of course, wild. So anyway, she posted, some updates for a pattern that she's test knitting at the moment for this shawl. It's called the Calamity Shawl, which I love the name because like if we haven't been living through calamity for the past couple of years, what have we been doing? And it's just really beautiful. It has really nice texture. It has like really good like lacy sections. Like it's just like it looked like a fun knit and a really good like a good shawl that wasn't a Stephen West shawl to make for myself to like wrap myself in for the winter. So I was pretty excited about it. So let me show you what I have. I'm realizing right now that, let's see, let me show you the yarn first before I show you. before I show you the shawl because that's what I do. So I went to Fiddlesticks about maybe a week and a half ago in the middle of the afternoon just for like a quick pop in to get something. And while I was there trying to figure out yarns for this shawl, the UPS man showed up with a giant box, and Ashes, one of the lovely people that works at Fiddlesticks, was like, I think that's a box of Rios. I threw the yarn I was holding down so quickly and was like, so they had this in the box. They had this in the box. It is Rios, Malabrigo Rios in Matisse blue. Matisse blue. I was like, well, I'll be taking all of those. So I picked up a bunch of those, but let me show you what I'm making with it. So this is, I haven't gotten that far because all the other stuff that's going on, but I had to knit this. This is my very tiny little beginning of the Calamity Shawl. So you can see this beautiful texture and this like lovely yarn over section, and the edging has yarn overs, and it's going to be this like gigantic triangle shawl, which I am so excited for, especially because of this color. Like, it's just, oh, so good. So I've been really enjoying knitting this. I haven't had as much time to knit on it as I would like, but that will change in like a couple of days. So very excited about that. Okay, so that was what I finished, what I'm working on, Ranunculus KAL. Let's talk about what I have been acquiring. I'm going to start with things that were sent to me because that will make me feel better about all the other things I've purchased. Okay, so months ago, I was going on and on and on and on about how much I love Furls crochet hooks, and the reception was pretty mixed. I think some people like them as much as I do. Some people are pretty indifferent to them. Like, they have a couple, but like they don't really use them too often. And some people really don't like them. And I was like, that's so interesting. Like, I think it's all about like the way that you hold your hook and like the materials that you get and like any number of things. So I was like, that's fair. So one of the people who doesn't really love them sent her hooks to me. Her name is Jan. So I just wanted to show you very quickly. I got this, like, it's not like one hook. Like, Jan sent me many, many, many hooks from Furls. Isn't that nice? She said, she's like, oh, can I send them to you? And I thought, sure. And I thought it would be like 1 or 2 hooks. And then I got this bag. Sorry for the rustling. Then I got this bag and I was like, look at these. Like, look at how pretty these are. This one, I've never even seen one that's got metal on it. I was like, ooh. And then I've got like this one, which is really pretty and marbled. And I've got like a little rainbow one, which is pretty fun. And then she also sent me, oh, I can't remember now what this is. It's a Clover something, but I can't remember what the brand or what the line of a crochet hook is. But I like this one a lot. It's very easy to hold, and it has like good maneuverability. So like this one I really like, and this is an H, which I use quite often. So I was very excited about that. But then I've also got this really pretty boy crochet hook, and like, look at that handle. Just looks so beautiful and so nice of her to send me her misfit crochet hooks, which I will absolutely find a use for. So thank you again, Jan, publicly. Sorry, it's been like 5 months or something since you sent them before I could actually talk about them, but I really appreciate it, and they're beautiful and I will use them. So thank you very much. I also got some stitch markers from Caidree, and they're just stunning. So again, just like really pretty, useful things. I love getting presents. I know you're not supposed to say that because it's like uncouth or whatever, but like, who doesn't love getting presents? Like, look how cute this is. It's got like a little sheep on it and everything. Like, just adorable. So there were many, many, many more. They almost give you earrings. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay. So I went and saw the Barbie movie, and like now I'm thinking a lot about charm bracelets. I saw the movie like the day it came out, but like I'm thinking about charm bracelets, and now I'm thinking about charm earrings. And I'm like, that would be pretty sweet as like a set of earrings, like hoops. Anyway, TBD. We'll see what I do with them. I was just going to use them as stitch markers, but now I might need to turn them into some jewelry because they're beautiful and I think they would look amazing. Okay. Sorry for the big sigh, but there's so many bags of yarn down here. It's wild. Let me start first with Sauzier was having a sale I haven't purchased any Madeline yarn in a hot second. They had a wool and cotton blend that I have not seen before. I don't think I really buy Madeline if it's not sock yarn. So I was pretty surprised. One of my friends had been there and was like, hey, there's like a big sale going on. Like, you should come by and check it out. And I was like, great. So I found these 2 colors. I thought they were 2 colors, but one moment. So I found this. This is Blood Runs Cold. It's a little more gothy than I was than I was going for, to be honest, with that title, but very pretty. It's actually more like an orange. It's like an orange. What am I saying? It's like a heathery pink sherbet, really, like a dark sherbet. I don't know where the blood's coming from, but whatever they're trying to do. And then I thought I was buying 2 skeins of kitten. So this is kitten. And I thought this was kitten until I got it home and was like, antique lace. And then I looked at them outside of the store and they are not the same. But you know what? I'm going to make, I think this was for the Crea Bea's striped shirt. And now I can't remember the name of the shirt, but y'all probably know which one I mean. But that's what this got purchased for. And obviously the summer's over, so I'm probably not going to get to it. But I'm like, if I'm striping, it's fine for these to be different colors as long as the main color is the same. So I kept them because I'm like, I think that'll be really pretty and it's going to give like really great summertime dessert vibes, so that was a quick pickup. I also at Sauzier found some yarn that was being destashed by one of the ladies that works there, Chris. So this is that yak sock from Chester Wool Company. So I got 3 skeins of this. There's 437 yards per skein. So you'll notice, does that look like beige to you? Too bad my hair is not down because that was a hair flip. But I was like, I've already made a brownie beige. Maybe let me try to make an actual gray beige, like a grayish, if you will. They're very different. Like this almost just looks like brown compared to this, right? Like this is the kind of beige I have often been scared to knit and have poo-pooed. But we're doing it. I don't know what I'm going to make with this. Maybe a ranunculus, quite honestly, because like it feels amazing and I think it would work really well. So yeah, picked up some of this. I'm just breaking all my own rules, just out here wild. I also got some yarn from my friend Dana. She pulled this out of her bag at one of our little knit meetings. That's a weird way to say it. We were knitting at Sauzier on a random day a couple months ago, and she pulled this out and she was like, you have to feel this. This is M1 Yarns Luxe Yak. So I was literally saying to her, there's no yak yarn in Madison. Like, where is it? Like, I can't find it anywhere. And she was like, oh, I forget where she got this from, but she's like, oh, I think maybe Chicago. I think this might have come from Chicago on one of her trips there. But she just was like, well, I'm not going to use it anytime soon. Like, if you want it, you can just have it. And I was like, I'm sorry, excuse me? Okay. So I just have a bag of gorgeous, beautiful yak yarn. Like, what? Wild. So this is 50% silk, 50% yak. It's 218 yards per skein. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but as you can see, it's kind of dark beige. So I want y'all to appreciate how outside my comfort zone I am these days. Okay. I'm trying to be a little bit more adventurous and not just make everything in black or gray or like wild colors. Like that is my preference, but I'm really trying to do neutrals. Will I stay with neutrals? I doubt it because that's not really my vibe, but I don't hate them. And I thought I would. So when you see me making a cream sweater in the wintertime, just mind you, just don't say anything. Don't say anything to me. Okay. I already showed you the Matisse Blue Rios. What I didn't show you is that I also picked up some chameleon. Is that Spanish for chameleon? I feel like all the Rios colors are like either English or Spanish. So I feel like that might be Spanish for chameleon, but I don't actually know. I don't even need to say anything else. I'm just going to show you this. So I got several skeins of this. What I'm doing with it, looking at it. I want to be better, but do I? Okay. One other bag that I wanted to show you, not just one, but because I mentioned earlier the Premier Bamboo Fair. I wish that I had been faster to get approved for a brand ambassadorship, because I have been talking up this yarn for months. And I'm going to continue to do so. So I mentioned that I got more yarn. So I got this colorway. I'm not going to open these bags because they're just going to get packed later. But look how pretty that is. What am I making with it? I don't know. I don't think I can improve upon this in another color. I don't think so. So not this, but maybe a Soho top. It's DK weight. So you can basically make any DK weight, summer weight shirt with this. And I will. So that color, I'm still me, so I got some gray. And then I also got some light gray. Again, I was thinking maybe I could stripe these. That would be kind of fun, but we'll see. Who knows? I don't know what I'm doing with these, but 3 skeins felt like enough to do some kind of sleeveless something. And maybe that's not even true. Now that I'm saying it, I'm like, I literally use like 4 or 5 for this top. But this top has also got kind of little cap sleeves. It's also longer. It has kind of like a sculpted hem. It's doing a lot more, I think, than some of the other tops that I would normally use this yarn for. And then, oh wait, no, I lied. I also have 2 more skeins, so I have 5 of this. So yeah, I was thinking of striping the other 2 grays. That makes much more sense. Okay, so that's my bamboo fair haul. I'm very excited about this yarn and cannot wait to knit it. But I guess I have to wait now till like the spring or something to do some summer knitting, because it's getting ready to be shawl season again. And I know some of y'all are just like, but I love them. The fact that I joined a test knit in the middle of August for a winter worsted weight shawl, we're back. Okay. The minute Stephen West drops those kits, it's on. Even though I said I was going to maybe try like other designers, I don't even know if that's going to happen this year. I might just make more Stephen West shawls because I miss him. I miss my shawls. I miss them. And I'm just like, I got to do it. I got to make more. Okay. I was in Chicago to go to a concert. So I like all kinds of music. I like bluegrass. I like rap. I like hip hop. I like industrial, I like country, although less so modern country, more so older country, but I like a lot of stuff. I also like K-pop. So BTS is my favorite K-pop band of all time. But I also like Mamamoo, which is a female K-pop group. I don't really like other bands. It's weird. Like those are sort of my 2 groups. And every now and again, I'll hear a song by somebody, but like, I'm not a stan. Like I am ARMY, which is the BTS fan group, and I'm actually don't know what Mamamoo calls are they muumuus? See, I don't even know. I just like their music and I think they're really fun people. So they were playing in Chicago. They've never had a world tour before. And I always said when I was peak K-pop, like in my K-pop bag, like in 2018, 2019, if Mamamoo ever gets a world tour, I'm going. Now, I have cooled off of K-pop in the last like couple of years, mostly just because I've moved and I have a lot of other stuff going on, and it's really hard to keep up with those fandoms because like there's constant content coming out. And I just didn't have the energy for it. I'm like in my 40s. I can't. So, but I saw the announcement and I thought, but Chicago's like right there. I have to go to this tour. I was so exhausted though that I kind of waited. And then it was like 2 weeks before the show and I was like, am I going to actually go or am I not going to go? And then I was like, I'm going to go. I literally said I wanted to go if they ever went on a tour. They now have a tour. So I got tickets and I went. Got a hotel room for 2 nights, stayed in Chicago, did the architectural boat tour, which was amazing, but also stopped at a yarn store. So, what was the yarn store that I stopped at? This is why you don't wait 3 months to do podcasts, because then when you're trying to actually remember stuff, you can't. I can't remember, and I feel really bad about it because I always shout out yarn stores. I did do like a little tiny, like a short, I think. Yeah, I got nothing. It's not going to come to me. So sorry. But I got a lot of yarn from them. So I wanted to show it to you very quickly. So this is Midcoast String. So all of these yarns, except for one, I think, is a local to Illinois dyer or yarn producer. So this is Stitched Together's Midcoast String in their Targeeling twist, which is very cute. So it's 80% Targhee, 10% bamboo, 10% tussa, and it's 500 yards. Like, that's so pretty. I have no idea what I'm going to do with this. It feels too special to really use for anything, so it may never get used, honestly. But, and also I believe they told me that this dyer is not dyeing anymore. Like, she's moved on to a different career. Maybe as a tattoo artist, I think they said, which is pretty cool. But so this is coveted stuff. So this will not just get used anywhere. Maybe a specialty yoke of a sweater or something, but very excited about this. I also got some yarn from 3 Irish Girls, which feels very apropos for Chicago. This is their Adorn Luxe, 85% merino, 15% nylon, in the colorway Southern Belle. Also very pretty and very like on brand for me and my colors. I got some not local yarns. Actually, I think the last 2 aren't local now that I'm looking at them. This is just Cascade, but it's Cascade Serrata, 70% baby llama, 30% silk. And this was going to be for another summer top that I didn't get a chance to start, but look at that. And that's of course in my gray, which y'all know. So this is definitely getting made into some kind of tee. There's 437 yards to a skein. So I have about 860-ish yards. So that feels enough for a t-shirt for me. And then I have Ba Savannah. I hope I'm saying that right. I've never actually said it out loud. 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, 80% superwash merino in the colorway Puns and Roses. Look at that. Now, I'm also a Guns N' Roses fan, or at least was in the 90s, because I don't know what they're on these days, or even if they're a band. I don't think they are, but I know Slash is in that really weird, like, commercial. Anyway, none of that matters. The pun was hilarious to me and the color was pretty. So I was like, I have to purchase this. So I did. So yeah, that is my Chicago haul. And then the very next weekend, I was in Milwaukee at the Amy La Bien-Aimée event at Cream City Yarns, where Amy was offering to shop with folks. And so I picked out a bunch of patterns. I had some yarns already from other dyers that I wanted to try to like get complimentary yarns for shawls and shirts and whatever else. And I'm just going to show you the yarns that I got from La Bien-Aimée, because I've shown you the other ones before. But actually, you know what? I won't do that because I think that'll be confusing. But let me start with the Super Sock in Cocoa. Now, this yarn I got because there is a shawl that I want to make that is brioche. It is not a Stephen West shawl, but the yarn that I wanted to use for it was this Scranton Stitcher Howling Man fingering weight yarn. So I got this as part of their Twilight Zone Twilight Zone event. I'm going to call it an event. But as you can see, it's kind of browns and orange and rust. And I was like, those are not my colors. Like, what was I thinking? I think I was thinking it's my favorite episode of the Twilight Zone. What can I say? If you give me some nostalgia, you're going to get my money. So I purchased it and it's beautifully dyed. Like, in no way is this like saying that this is ugly yarn. It is not. It is gorgeous. They're just not my colors. So then I thought, okay, how do I use this? Because I want to in a shawl, but somehow make it more me. And all I could think of was add more color. So this is what I'm going to do. So the brioche is going to be these 2 colors. And I think that's going to look amazing to have them sort of playing off of each other with the way that brioche does the front and the back. So that's what's going to happen. But I couldn't have done it without Amy. So I showed her these colors and she picked these. Like, I was like, yeah, we're good. That's it. That's the one. So thank you, Amy. And then there's this really pretty lacy shirt that I want to make. And I don't have the pattern at hand, but that's okay. And I knew that I wanted it to be a neutral, but I wanted it to be gray because I can't be out here making just beige and cream. Like, y'all will be like, who snatched her? Like, what alien is in that body? So I have to do some gray. So we talked about it and Amy was like, what about this yarn? Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. So this is the Helix in lichen. So it's got ever little bit, it's not coming across, but there's sort of like a very light bluish green hint to the gray. So it's not like a solid gray. Like, it is a beautiful yarn, and I have a lot of it. So I think this is going to work out quite well because the shirt that I want to make is heavily cabled and lacy. Like, there's a lot going on, so it uses a lot of yardage. So this is going to be exactly what I need. And then finally, I think this is the Cereto top. All I know is that Amy Palko's made it twice. And every version that she's made has been absolutely stunning. And I wanted my own version. And I thought, okay, what am I going to use for this? Now, part of the problem is that I have, as I've mentioned, a penchant for buying things just cause. And I don't really always buy things with a project in mind, which gets me in trouble sometimes. And one of those times was when I ordered 2 skeins of this. So this is the Ching Fiber Harajuku in their yak single base. So it's great. But I literally was just like, what am I going to do with this? And I was like, it's kind of too busy for a shawl. I don't have enough of it to make a t-shirt. Oh no. And I just sort of panicked because I'm like, and I mean, I do have like, it's like 525 yards of skein. So technically I could make a t-shirt, but then with like I would have to do helical. There's like a lot going on to try to get this to work in a way that doesn't feel weird as a t-shirt. So I was like, I don't know what to do. But then I thought about that top that I mentioned that Amy Palko has made. And it's basically like a solid, and then there's like a feather and fan lace section towards the bottom. And I think for the longest time, I thought it was a main color and one contrasting color. But when I looked more closely at the pattern and then read the like yarn requirements, I was like, there's 3 colors here. And I thought, what if this is the main body of that top? So it's sort of wild. And then it has like a very calm area that is sort of colors that are complementary to this. So this is reading as black. It's actually a navy. So that's what I'm going with. You'll notice that this is very similar to that other color. So Amy was she was channeling something because I was like, that would be great. And you can kind of see there's a little bit of this color kind of like mixed in and kind of saturated with other colors a little bit. So like, that's pretty cool. So that's what I'm thinking about with this. That's what I'm thinking about with this. And I think as wild as it kind of looks on camera, it's going to work really well. That navy, we had to send for it from France because they didn't have any. I think it's gonna do exactly what I need it to do. So I'm very excited for this. Okay, so that's all the acquisitions I'm going to show you. There's more stuff. I'm just not. I can't. I don't have the time. And honestly, there's going to be more acquisitions. But I did want to do a little bit on what's bringing me joy. So I already talked about how great my summer was, and it has been, and the house and all of that. But also I just wanted to take a minute to talk a little bit about Elizabeth Zimmerman. Now, I was at knitting 2 weeks ago, I think, and somebody had come in. They were asking how to do cables. And another woman at the table was like, let's see if there's a book. So she's rummaging through our lending library and she found this book from Elizabeth Zimmerman and was kind of looking through it and was like, well, there's not really anything in here that's like super, super useful for cables, but basically like you kind of do a cable like this. So the person who was asking came again last week and I showed him how to do like a basic 1x1 cable because that felt like an easier thing to learn based on what he was trying to make. So that was really fun. But I picked up the Elizabeth Zimmerman book just to kind of flip through it to see what was in it. Because I was like, oh yeah, I completely forgot. I have one of her other books that's like one of the smaller ones. Like it's the one that's more the manual on like how to do a circular sweater with like math basically. But this one, I started reading it and I thought this is a really good read. It's a really good read. It's like, yes, it's instructional and whatever, but like she's such a great storyteller. And so I just wanted to like very quickly, because I know at the beginning of the year, I was talking about books that changed my perspective on things. And that was the wonderful book by Lerka Bager. You know, y'all know who I mean. That book was amazing. But now we've got another book that's from like the 70s. and it's just called Knitting Without Tears. And it's all about knitting in a way that doesn't stress you out and gets the job done. So there's a lot of like, you could try this, but also you could maybe not try this, or like you could choose this technique, but this other technique will work just fine too. She has some opinions, which I also think are really funny, about certain things that she likes and doesn't like. And you can kind of see like, there's a section on like materials for needles. And I'm like, they used to make needles out of what? Just like weird stuff. I'm like, I don't even know what that is. And then I start thinking like, what a cool document to just have this historical record, basically, of what knitting was like in the 70s when people hadn't really been knitting prior. And to think about what knitting is like in 2023 with like such a vibrant community and so many people doing things in so many different ways and inventing things that have already been invented. But like, that's sort of the beauty of crafts, right? Is like we all sort of come up with ideas that are great ideas that somebody else has already come up with. But like, there's just so many of us doing it that it's hard to know that. I'm like, that's really cool. So I just wanted to like, I guess, have a moment for the seasoned knitters among us, the folks in their 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s who have been knitting forever and have lots of knowledge to share and have lots of techniques in their back pocket that like we don't even know about, that maybe they've forgotten is like a novel thing. And so like, yeah, this is, I guess, like a call to just talk to your older knitters. Just talk to them. Try to, gather as much knowledge and information and wisdom from them as you can, because I had such a good time just like reading this as a book. Like I wasn't trying to learn anything. A lot of the stuff that she mentions in the book, I kind of already knew, but I just liked hearing the history of what it was like to be a knitter at that time and imagine what it was like to discover some of these techniques. And it's like, oh, this is going to make my knitting so much easier and more enjoyable. And it's like, yeah, isn't that what we're all looking for? So anyway, I'm going to leave you with that. This was a very speedy episode. Sorry if it was very, very fast, but I'm trying to get through before the knock so that it's not awkward. But please join me for the Ranunculus KAL. Make sure to tag me if you'd like, but also use the hashtag MissTheBoatKal2023. And I look forward to seeing everybody's projects. I will be back when I can. The background most likely will not look like this, unfortunately, because I have a completely different room that all of this stuff is going in. But we will have a new background, and we will, embrace change and flexibility and all of that. But I will see y'all again, definitely in September. But I will also post on Instagram if I can do a kickoff for the Ranunculus KAL. But gather your materials and get ready to win one of these amazing prizes. All right, I will talk to you later, and thank you for watching. Bye!